can't be here, but they always tell me they go back and watch the recordings on Facebook. And so that you guys know this, anyone who is registered for script practice, I do send you the recording once a week so you can go back and watch it. So just keep an eye out for me sending out the email. I think it's really important that when we're in class, don't be so busy attempting to take notes because you're missing out on a lot of the conversation. Just wait until you get the recording, go back and watch it at your own speed, and then take your notes then. Right now, I think it's a good time just to be immersed in the conversation, hear what we have going on. So with that being said, I think we are just about over. Yeah, we're on Facebook Live. That's all set up. Perfect, perfect. So here's my question before we get into scripts. We've been doing this for 2 months now, and I just wanted to know, is there anybody who would be willing to raise their hand and share if you've had any wins specifically based on what you've learned on this call? You know, how to overcome objections, getting out of, your comfort zone, picking up the phone, making calls, maybe calling a for sale by owner where you never called them before. Is there anyone that had any wins that they'd be willing to share based on the activity that they're doing from this class? Going once, twice. Okay, I got a hand. Alberto, what's going on, sir?
Good morning, David. Thank you for giving me.
I can't hear you. I see that you're unmuted.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Hold on. Can you hear me now?
You guys hear Alberto?
Yeah, I'm here. Let me check.
Keep talking, Alberto. I'm sorry. I'll fix my stuff.
No, it's okay. I just want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to be in this meeting every Friday. Since I've been coming to this meeting, I learned how to talk. I improved my script already. I feel more courage to talk, to call for sale by owners and call expires. And every time, you learn from you, from the other guys that participated in this meeting.
I love it, man. And continue to make the calls, continue to push yourself out of your comfort zone. And one thing, Alberto, that helped me, and maybe this will help you, when I made those calls, I would kind of disconnect myself from the outcome. It's like whatever happens, happens. What I need to do is do my job. And that's number one, picking up the phone. And number two, pushing to get through the script. And so I would kind of take my sales hat off, so to speak. And I would just come in saying, I almost said this affirmation to myself, Alberto, like, I'm not pushing for an appointment until I fully understand what's important to them, what their problem is, what their motivation is. And so what it allowed me to do was not be tied to whether or not I'm getting the appointment or the listing. It's really about, do I understand what's important to them? Because let me tell you this, these for sale by owners, these expireds, they will eventually list with an agent. They're going to list with the one that shows their value, right? And the one that really understands their problem. And I think we all need to do a better job of understanding what's important before we push for the close or push for the sale. Thank you for sharing, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you.
Anyone else have any wins they want to share? Giovanna, what's up? How you doing? Happy Friday. I'm happy to see you here. That's what's up. Anybody else?
I'll share something, David.
Thanks, Lou.
Yeah, so it what resonates really for me is the win, just to have the courage to get up every Friday at 8:30 and make the commitment to get on this. So it hasn't really translated yet into something for business, but just the personal change that I've been able to take the courage on and get on this call every Friday and just share with everybody. And I think that's a major step in my life just for me.
That's definitely a major step. And Lou was out there in Vegas with me, and we had the honor of seeing Mel Robbins. And if you guys are familiar with her, she wrote this book called The 5-Second Rule. And essentially the premise is, when there's something you need to do, like getting up in the morning and working out, instead of laying in the bed coming up with excuses and reasons, you just count down like a rocket taking off. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you go do it, right? However, here's what I heard from her this week, and I had never thought about it before. It changed the way I looked at things. You also use the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to stop you from doing things you shouldn't be doing. For me, as an example, I'm walking up to that Ben & Jerry case to get me some everything but ice cream, and I know I don't need it. I got to say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and turn around and go the other way. So it can be used to get you to do things and get you to stop from doing things. And I have to tell you, when it comes to getting on this call, when it comes to taking action, the whole point of this call is to show you guys what you need to say and what you need to do. However, we can't make you do it. You got to go out and do the work. You have to implement what you learn. And so if you haven't read 5 Second Rule by Mel Robbins, I highly recommend you pick it up and get to a point where you get up in the morning, you know what your job is, do that 5 4 3 2 1 and just pick up the phone and start calling. And Orly said something on the Morning Mindset call a couple weeks ago, and a lot of people took her up on this and it had a major impact on their business. She said, just pick up the phone and go have fun. Don't be tied to the outcome. Just have fun. Call those expires and call those FSBOs. And when I tell you, several people did exactly that, and they ended up getting opportunities and getting appointments and even getting listings. I want you guys to think about that as well. Stop coming to this call just for infotainment. Get on this call because you know this is your job and you got to know this stuff, and then get to work. Go out there and do it. Just go have fun. Go have fun with it. Don't put so much pressure on yourself. All right. So thank you for sharing, guys. I appreciate that. I had somebody join the call, Veronica, and I think, yeah, Veronica, I saw her join. The reason why I had Veronica join, her and Fatima are like door knocking partners. And one thing I appreciate about them is that, I don't know, it seems like it's been 2 years. She can correct me if that's wrong. Every Tuesday, I knew on my Instagram, I'm going to see videos from her and Fatima out there door knocking for success. And I remember in the beginning when they first started doing it, they were full of energy. But then when the results weren't happening, it was like, man, do I keep doing this every week? And this, I told them, I remember one point telling them, just stay consistent. You know, I'm no exceptional agent. I'm no exceptional coach. I think one thing that has led to me to being successful is that I'm just consistent. People know that I'm talking about the right things. I'm doing the right things. I'm always there. I'm super consistent with what I do every single week. And so was Veronica and Fatima. And Veronica, if you're able to unmute, I want you to be safe because it looks like you're in your car. So please be safe. But I just want to know, if is there anything you would say, because we're going to go over the door knocking script. Is there anything you could say to encourage people and talk about how door knocking was successful for you? I don't know. There she is.
I'm here. Hi, guys. Just want to say, keep doing it. Door knocking is amazing. You get a lot of good connections. We do it with Fatima. First of all, it's for fun reasons and also for safety. And also, when we door knock, and for example, I forget to say something, she always jumps in. And then once we're done, we always could go over and say, you know what, we should have said this, we should have done that. We kind of give each other feedback on what we've done for next time. We just kept on door knocking, like people, you know, door knocking, it's a long game. Just keep that in mind. But amazing things, we closed yesterday our door knocking $1.375 deal. So keep on doing it, and it's amazing. There are definitely results if you do it.
Wait, so hold on for a second. You just said you closed on the deal. It was $1.375 million, and you got that opportunity from door knocking.
Yep, exactly.
How long did you have to follow up with that person before it turned into a listing opportunity?
That's a good question. That was like 1.5 years.
Okay.
But just from that one opportunity, there's going to be more business coming from just that one door knock.
Yeah. So here's the lesson in that, guys. So many of you are like, hey, I went out and door knocked. It's not working. And I'm like, well, how long have you been door knocking? 2 weeks. Listen, it takes time. You're planting the seed. And it's a matter of going out there and making the introduction, but then you have to go back out there and make sure they remember who you are, and you have to do your follow-up. If Veronica had stopped in 6 months, she wouldn't have had this closing she had yesterday for $1.3 million. So just keep in mind, it's about the follow-up. It's about the consistency. I hope you guys understand that. Veronica, I appreciate you. I appreciate you sharing. Keep door knocking. And more importantly, keep creating the content when you're out there door knocking, because what you're doing is you're showing sellers you're the type of agent that they want to hire, because when they hire you, you're going to be out there door knocking to find the buyer for their property. You're doing the work. So continue to document what you do. We don't need to create videos. We're already doing the work. Just document what we're doing. I'll talk to you later, and thank you for being here this morning. All right, so let's get into it. You guys ready to do some scripting? Who role plays the door knocking script? Who's currently like door knocking, circle prospecting, going and hitting doors every day that has a script that they're using? I see Pete's hand up. Anybody else? Okay, I got Carlton up here, Matt, and Monty. Can you guys, I want somebody to unmute and just tell me what is the script that you use when you door knock? And then also, if you have a nugget of information about how to be prepared, how to be safe as well, because we got to be smart when we're out there door knocking too. And so if you have any advice for people about safety as well, when you share what script you're using, please unmute and share that. I'm gonna start with Pete, if you don't mind. Pete, when you go out and door knock, is there a specific script you use, and who are you door knocking?
Yeah, so I threw my hand up when you said circle prospecting, but you know, I have door knocked, but I'm not going to say that I do it like regularly right now. I'm part of a challenge right now, so part of the challenge is 25 door knocks this week, so I will be. But when it comes to circle prospecting, just kind of the script I use, which could very easily be used for door knocking as well, is I'll just knock on the door and say, you know, pretend you answer. So ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, David.
How can I help you?
Hi, David. Yeah, so just my name's Pete Kopech. How you doing today?
Good.
Good.
What's going on?
So yeah, so again, my name's Pete. I'm a local realtor. I was just calling or just stopping by because the house down the street just went under contract. That house had 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, and went under contract with 19 offers on the property.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm just stopping by and I just wanted to see if maybe there was anything I could do for you today.
No, Pete, I'm good. Thank you. I'm okay.
Yeah, no worries. And so, David, I'm just curious if you were looking to do something or you did need a hand. I mean, do you have somebody you would work with on that?
No, I don't have a relationship with an agent. No.
Okay, perfect. Well, David, what I'd love to do is, you know, I'm sure at some point down the road you may be looking to buy or sell something, and I'd love to just have the opportunity to work with you when that day comes. Would it be okay if I kept in touch?
What do you mean by that? Just like email, or I don't like a lot of phone calls, Pete.
Yeah, fair enough. I can appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'll always communicate however you want to communicate. We could do a couple of things. I can, of course, pop by. I could get you on my phone list. But what probably is easiest is I actually have a service I can keep you up to date with everything that's going on in the neighborhood via email. Would that work for you?
Sure. Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be good.
Perfect. What's the best email for you currently?
David Radney, Gmail.
Okay, perfect. And if something did come up and, you know, I, you know, thought it was important to give you a call, what's the best phone number for you currently?
This number you calling me on.
Okay, perfect. Well, we're standing face to face, but that's fine.
Oh,
Perfect.
okay. Sorry. 201-993-0016. Man, I just
All
came
right,
back
awesome.
from Vegas. Give me some grace, man. My head is like somewhere else.
No worries, man. No worries. And hey, while I got you, I mean, who do you know in the neighborhood who's maybe looking to make a move right now?
Well, I mean, my neighbors 2 houses down on the left, I know they were doing a clean out in the summer, and they were talking about moving, but it never happened. So not sure what's going on there.
All right, perfect. Well, listen, David, here's my card. And I'm actually going to go, you know, see if maybe they're home and maybe there's an opportunity to help them there. But if I can't connect with them, and I don't know if you speak with them regularly, if you do come across, you mind connecting us, see if maybe there's an opportunity to help them out.
Sure, absolutely. I'll pass on your information.
All right, awesome, David. And if you were looking to move, just out of curiosity, I mean, when would that be?
Pete, I think this is the house I'm going to die in. It's in trust, so my daughters will take over when I'm no longer here.
All right. Well, fair enough. Well, that sounds good. And yeah, I mean, hopefully not for a very, very long time. And yeah, David, well, listen, I appreciate it, man. And, you know, we're just here to be the neighborhood resource. So if there's anything we can do for you or anyone, you know, never hesitate to reach out.
Love it. Love it. He was
Awesome.
like,
Thanks, David.
dying in a house. Sounds good. Okay. I love it.
Yeah.
Really quickly, Pete, I have a question for you, and I love input from people with the script. I noticed in the beginning, you're like, how are you doing today? I used to say that all the time, and I had a couple people say, you're wasting valuable words with that. And when people hear, how are you doing today? Automatically, they're thinking salesperson. So I work to cut that out. It still happens sometimes, but I've been cutting that out. Do you think that helps or hurts, or it doesn't really matter?
So I don't use that all the time. I use that like strategically, I guess you would say, or specifically, right? When you're,
Right.
My theory is when you're circle prospecting, the chances that you knock on somebody's door and they're like, yeah, come on in, show me the comps. Let's put a sign in the, like, it's not very likely that you're really calling because you're trying to build rapport. Like Veronica said, it took 1.5 years. So in my opinion, you're kind of just breaking the ice, kind of just having a conversation. I think when you say, how are you doing today? Oh, I see your house didn't list for sale. Like you clearly don't really care how they're doing today. You're kind of like switching that. So that's just my theory on it.
Got it.
I think,
sense.
yeah, I think if you were like door knocking and expired, I don't know. I mean, I think it's kind of natural if you were door knocking, but that's why I do say, how are you doing today when I'm circle prospecting? If I'm calling a FISBO or an expired or following up with a lead or whatever, like I'm not saying that.
Perfect. Perfect. Makes sense. Thank you. Thank you. Lou, what's going on, sir?
Hey, David. So, Pete, I've been reading and I haven't tried it yet, so I can't say whether it will or won't work. And I know David will love this. So what exactly to say, right? Phil Jones is awesome. And if you don't have this book, everybody, it's $9 on Amazon, right? $9 on Amazon. And the best way, I think, to start that is by saying, I'm not sure if this is for you, but right? Knock on the door. Hi, Pete Kopak. I'm not sure this is for you, but I wanted to knock on your door anyway and have a quick conversation with you, right? And then the person's going to think, well, what isn't for me? Maybe it is for me, right? And you've disarmed them from the start. Instead of saying, how you doing today? You're saying, I'm knocking on your door. I'm not sure if this is for you, but I wanted to knock on your door anyway and have a quick conversation, right? And then the other quick way to disarm them is by using the sentence of, how open-minded are you, right? How open-minded are you? Well, I'm very open. Who says they're not open-minded? Who actually ever would say to you, I'm not open-minded, right? So they would say, yeah, I'm open-minded. And then you can continue the conversation. Well, I'm glad to hear that you're open-minded because I have a creative idea to have a conversation with you about. And I think that those two phrases, I can't wait to try to work them into my pitches and figure out how it works and just customize it to me.
Well, Lou, you're absolutely right. Number one, this book is fantastic. I had a chance to meet Phil Jones in Vegas and take a picture with him. He was cool. He did a good session. That I'm not sure it's for you, but I was thinking as you were saying that, wouldn't that be a great way to say property around the corner from you just went under contract and they had multiple offers. There were 40 people who were interested in that home and only one person got it. And so I'm looking for 39 other sellers in the area that might be interested in selling their home. Like we could find a way to tie all that together. I think it's a great prompt, and I think that's a really solid script. You guys have to pick that book up. So it's a great read, Lou. Thank you so much, Matt.
Good morning. I hope family reunion was good, David.
It was great.
So I'll give you some tricks from my old industry. So when you're knocking on a door and you don't know who the person is and you're prospecting, what I like to do is I'll take, especially if they have a step up, like around me, we have a lot of people that step up. So like I'll knock on neighborhoods where I've either personally done deals in or somebody on my team or somebody else, not even on my team, kind of like circle prospecting. And I'll take like, for a safety reason, like I'll take 2 steps back from the door after I ring the doorbell or knock. Most people have a Ring camera too now. So when they knock on you knock on the door and I keep my hands like in front of me, like always, like just kind of like keep your hands, don't put your hands in your pockets, don't put them around in your purse and anything like that, especially if you have your name tag, like wear that so that people can identify you. And then when they answer the door, I just tell people typically like, hey, how you doing? My name is Matt, local realtor. I like going around neighborhoods and dropping off information that I find people to find valuable. And are you up to date on what's going on in your neighborhood, economically regarding housing? And they're like, no, not really. Cool. Great. Well, I have some information for you if it's all right. I'll trade you I'll trade you some information if you want to trade some contact info. I'd love to keep you up to date. I have a newsletter that I put out each month that kind of targets your area if that's something you're interested in to keep you up to date. Yeah. And then it kind of like lets the guard down.
Yep.
Push helped a lot with my door knocking because once we got through that and we did the reps and stuff, like it makes it a little bit more easier and organic. I do it more frequently than I think most others do. And I think the one thing that I would say that I took away was I've gotten, if anybody else has gotten this, when you knock on the door and they open the door and they see you and they say, no, thank you, not interested. Like,
yep,
right off the bat. And my response to them is like, yeah, I assumed you'd say that.
Yeah.
And then they're like, what do you mean? Great. Now I got you talking. So then what do you mean by that? Well, I figured, you get door knocked all the time by agents like myself. So, I figured you'd say that you weren't interested at all. But if you were interested, and then you just lead into whatever it is that you're talking about, whether it's some property that's sold or, you have buyers looking or whatever.
Love that, man. Love that. I think those are all great scripts. I hope you guys will go back and watch this video and write that down. That's really good information. And for those of you who don't know, Matt used to be in law enforcement. So when he's telling you, like, I know you can't tell from the Zoom screen, but I'm 6'4", 240 pounds. You don't want to open your front door and I'm like leaning in. That's not what you want. So as a big guy, I had to learn early on, like Matt was saying, I would knock on the door and take all the steps down and wait down here. My hands weren't in my pocket. And I had to remember to put a smile on my face too and have the name tag. I didn't have the clipboard because people see that clipboard, they're thinking, oh boy, here we go. So I would just be there. I would be present. And I think that's really good advice. Also, if you want to be smart too, when you're out door knocking, door knock with someone, partner up. Maybe you have one side of the street, they have the other side, so you guys can keep eyes on each other. Be smart about it. We have to be safe when we're out there door knocking, and there are definitely different ways to think about it and go about it. Pete, and then Betty, and then Jayon.
Yeah, I just wanted to add in real quick, especially if you're like door knocking a neighborhood that you intend to like continue to work and farm or prospect or whatever. Something I've started incorporating, which I think is super important, is asking if they have an agent they would work on that if they were to do something. Because like if you think about all your mailings you do throughout the year, all the contacts, all the energy, all that kind of stuff, I think one of two things can come from that. One, you can find out like if their sister or like I called somebody yesterday, he's like, yeah, my wife is an agent. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm taking you off my list. Like, I'm not going to spend time calling you again, sending you a postcard, sending you mailers. It's just a waste of time. The other side to that is I actually looked her up and I see that she only did like one deal in the last 12 months. So I'm going to reach out to her. I'm going to say, hey, you know, who do you work with? If you know somebody who's looking to buy or sell, like who do you refer that to? I'd love to be one of your contacts in the area who can help, you know, your trusted partner. So you can build agent to agent referral relationships that way. Yeah, I just think it saves you time, and it's like, let me just know. And you make the decision on your own as to whether or not like it's for real or not. But I think when you're circle prospecting, if you can find out if there's somebody that they're already would work with, you can save yourself time and energy and money.
Got it. Got it. Thank you, Pete. Before I go to Betty, I just want to say this really quickly. Towards the end, we're going to do some objection handling. I learned a new objection handler in Vegas that I had never heard before, so I want to share that with you. But I also want to let you guys know that for me, this call is about you guys learning and growing. And it's hard to have success if you're not actually in the mix, in the game. You can read books on how to get a six-pack. You'll never get it until you do push-ups and do the reps. So I'm not going to be asking for people to volunteer. I'm just going to be randomly calling names. You're here. I want you to unmute and I want you to give it a shot. I don't expect you to have the right answer. Go with your gut, overcome the objection. If you need some help, phone a friend. I'm coming for you, though. You're here on this call so that you can be pushed and get out of your comfort zone. Know that that's going to happen after we finish this conversation. So I just want to prep you guys. Stand up, you know, get those jitters out, drink some coffee, like whatever you got to do. Get ready. We coming your way. Betty, what's going on?
Hi. So I was going to say 2 weeks ago, me and Maura, another agent in our office, there are two commercial spaces in the building that we rent where our office is that are available. So I thought to myself, why can't we rent these spaces? So I said, we're going to start going around Montclair every Monday to all the local businesses to let them know that we're local agents. We're going to lead with, we have the two spaces in Upper Montclair. However, you know, if you need assistance with your business, if you want to sell your business, rent your business, you have a family, friend, or anyone who is looking for commercial real estate or residential. And from that, we've gotten 2 appointments, one for residential, one for commercial. And every Monday we print out 20 flyers. And this week we went through 20 flyers so fast. So next week we're going to do 25. But every Monday from 11 until we get rid of those 25 flyers, that's our lead generation and door knocking.
Love it.
And we simply go in like this, you know, hey, it's Monday, you know, great way to start the week. Today's your lucky day. And they're like, why? It's because we came in here. Here's our information. We're local realtors in Montclair. We work for Keller Williams. So it's printed out, my picture, her picture, and just services that we offer. And that's it.
Love it. And Betty, you're really good at creating the content and showing people what you do. I think I
Yes.
mentioned this to you before, and yet if I haven't, let me just say it now. When you're out doing those door knocks and you're talking to businesses,
We have it. Yes, we are. This is what we're going to do as well. We didn't get a chance to do it this week because we had to go
Okay.
to the family reunion watch party.
Okay.
But all the restaurants that we go to, we're going to stop and have breakfast. I mean, we'll have lunch in one of those restaurants, and we're going to,
Yes.
do a little video of the owners, blah, blah, blah. Listen, we have the whole plan mapped out. So
Good.
just
The
pay
owners,
attention.
the chef, and tag
Yes,
them like
everyone.
good. All right, Betty.
Yes.
All right, Betty's
Yes.
coachable. I'm gonna shut up now because she already got it. Good.
You
All right, thanks,
know,
Betty.
you just tell me what to do.
Well, yeah, that's one thing, you'll do it. That's what I know about you. Betty, somebody has a comment for you in the chat, so take a look at that. Monty, go ahead.
So I've been like when I've been going out.
Can you speak up? Something's going on with your mic. I can hear you, but it's really low. If
Can
you
you
could,
hear me now?
it's a little bit better.
Sorry. Now is that better?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So what I think that timing is very important when it comes to door knocking. A lot of times I feel like Saturday mornings people are more relaxed. Sunday I know people might go to their temple of worship or churches. So Saturday mornings are a good time. I think evenings are a good time too because their day is kind of over when they're going for a walk or a run. I try to tap in them and and I'm not looking to necessarily get business. I'm looking to just have a conversation. And a lot of people will be so at ease when you're just having a conversation. So I don't necessarily have a script, but sometimes if I have a buyer that, I'm trying to find off market, I'll genuinely, sincerely, just tell them that, I have a wonderful, buyer, this is their thing. And they really just want a home. Do you know how you can, I would really just love to help them because they've been looking for so long. And sometimes it's just having a very honest, sincere approach. And people will have actually let me into their homes and been like, come and take a look at my home and what do you think, and like they'll actually have conversations because I'm not being salesy, I'm not being marketing, I'm just looking to have a conversation and connect with you and just be warm. And I think that goes a longer way. And then you can farm them, send them your mailers, keep in touch, do your pies, whatever you have to do. But I think that just being human,
Yes.
People connect to that more than, at least for me, being salesy.
And Monty, I have to correct you. I think you do, in fact, have a script. You just said it, and it's working for you. So, you got it internalized. It comes across naturally, and people are opening their doors. That's telling me it's a script that works. So you do have a script. Keep it up. That's good stuff. Thank you. Let's see, Veronica. Be safe when you unmute in the car. There you go.
I just want to add one thing that is tremendous. After every contact you make with a person, send them a thank you note.
Yeah.
And also mention something like a dog's name or whatever you had discussion with to connect on that level. We had so many notes we sent down. People always even they will call us back to say thank you. We haven't got notes. That small touch goes such a long way.
And Veronica's absolutely right. Everybody you talk to, for those of you in New Jersey, go to like the Christmas tree store. You can buy these thank you cards dirt cheap, like a box full of them. And as you wrap up your day, like when you're sitting in your car, you could just go ahead and address all those, have stamps in your car and just drop them off. Just get it done. But she's absolutely right. Everybody I send a note card to, when I finally got to their house for a listing appointment, every note card I sent them was sitting there right on their counter. So they keep it. It definitely makes a difference. It helps you stand out. Thank you, Veronica. Matt, what you got?
Yeah, I just gonna touch and say, whatever you do, whatever you say, do it with confidence. Just make sure you have throw a little swagger in your pocket and do it with a little bit of confidence and be that market expert. If you have a lot of O's, ums, and filler words and stuff like that, come with some good information, speak with confidence, and people will be very receptive to talking to you and stuff like that. It's not this big scary thing.
No, I hear you on that. But also, man, when it comes to door knocking, it's important to what you're wearing. If I'm door knocking, Upper Saddle River in an expensive area, I might have a blazer on. If I'm doing low income properties, I'm not going to have a blazer on. They're thinking I'm trying to take advantage and I'm a slick salesperson. I'm going to dress down a little bit. So you got to kind of pay attention to where you are, and you should dress accordingly when you're door knocking as well. Jan, go ahead.
All right, so I don't do a lot of door knocking, but some of the other groups that I participate in, I've heard a really good script for door knocking, and it sounds like it's a good icebreaker. So it goes, you knock on the door and they answer the door. And then you say, hey, I'm not here to sell you anything or change your religion. Then you kind of just go into your script. You know, you kind of chuckle after you say it, just to kind of break that ice a little bit.
No, I love that. I'm not here to sell you anything or change your religion. When you smile and you say that with a smile on your face, they're going to laugh and it's going to open them up a little bit. I like that, man. I think that's a great strategy for sure. Gerald, what's up, man?
Ain't nothing. How you been?
Good, good. No complaints.
Good, good. I don't do regular door knocking, David. I door knock when I do an open house. And what I do is I do, you know, of course, the 10 neighbors on each side and then 20 across the street, you know. But when I do door knock and I door knock the neighbors, I invite them to the open house to let them know that, hey, if the open house is from like 2 to 3, they can come from 12 to 1, and I have refreshments for them.
Nice.
But at the same time, I'm trying to get to know them, how long they've been in the neighborhood, why they like the neighborhood. I'm trying to get information from them, because when strangers come to the open house, I could tell them about the neighborhood,
Yeah.
you know, from the neighbors and stuff. So that's the way I do it.
And listen, as you're talking right now, a couple of things hit me. When you get these neighbors to show up, if it were me,
yeah,
I would say, hey, I have a podcast I do, or I do videos on Instagram talking about the neighborhoods where I work. And I always like to talk to the residents and find out what they love about the neighborhood and what they love about the town. Would you allow me to ask you a few questions on video?
Yeah, that's one of the things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you really ask them at the door when they open the door.
Yep.
You know, when they're at the door, ask them, tell me why'd you pick this neighborhood? What you like about this neighborhood? You know, what do you feel? But I also ask them too, but especially when they sign in, you know, I get their information. I send them a thank you note and offer them a free consultation on if you want your house to be a CMA on your house. Give them a free consultation and ask them. I don't even ask them, are you planning on moving? I ask them, do you know anybody who may be planning on moving? A friend, a relative, a coworker, anything like that.
Yeah. And that takes pressure off, because if they are in fact thinking of moving, they'll tell you, hey, it's me. But I find that the question is more received when you're saying, do you know someone else who might be looking to buy or sell? They'll raise their hand if it's them. Gerald, you mentioned something at 10, 10, 20, and I have to say, I completely agree with you on this. I didn't do like circle prospecting door knocking where I did an entire neighborhood. I would go specifically after for sell by owners and expired. And when I went to their house to door knock, I would also door knock 5 houses on either side and 10 houses across the street.
Right.
We know that in the neighborhood, when one house goes on the market, typically 2 or 3 more houses pop up.
Yep.
So I'm attempting to find those other neighbors that are attempting to potentially put their house on the market. So I think that's a really good strategy, Gerald.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff. Colleen, hey.
Hi, how are you?
Fantastic.
Good. I just wanted to Pete knows this story, but we do this challenge together, and one of the challenges was to go out into your neighborhood and introduce yourself to the neighbors and so on and so forth. And I'm not really a door knocker, so but I knocked on some of my neighbors and we got talking, and so she said you know, she's dating this guy in Ohio and so on and so forth. And I said, oh, you should move to Ohio, you know, just teasing, you know, oh, you should move to Ohio. Well, a few days later, she called me and said, I'm moving to Ohio. I need you to sell my place.
What?
Yes.
I love that.
And I would never have done it if it wasn't a challenge to go out. So I was like, oh, okay, then. Thank you. So,
and I love that you shared that. And I think that's amazing. Congratulations, first and foremost. And I think we should be asking that to people, even the people who say, hey, I'm not interested in selling. You're already at the door. They're already talking to you. You should ask, well, if you were to sell your house, where would you move to? And maybe they'll tell you Florida because my grandkids are there. And we can't motivate anyone, but we can motivate them through questions. And maybe from having a conversation with you, they'll realize that time is the only thing they have. And so if they're not happy here in New Jersey and really want to be in Florida, why are we not having a conversation about how we can make that happen? And maybe it doesn't happen now, but if you start that conversation with them and now you're following up systematically like you should, and you know their true reason for wanting to be in Florida, when they're ready, you got that, right? We got to keep our sales pipeline filled. And some people are going to sell this month. Some people are going to sell in 5 years. Have the conversation to understand what's important to them and then do our follow-up, right? Good job, Colleen. Thank you. Pete, go ahead, man.
Yeah, I just want to jump in on that because I think that that's so important. Like something I've realized from like really getting very consistent with this now is like, what do you have to lose, man? Like I remember, like I would like circle prospect. I'd make the phone call and it'd be like, I don't really want to like ask them when they're gonna move or like where they would go because like I want to be able to like follow up with them later, and I don't want them to think I'm a pushy salesperson. Then what would happen? I would never follow up with them again. Like there's people who like you're afraid to ask them that question because you think you're gonna jeopardize this long-term amazing relationship you're gonna have, and 9 out of 10 times we don't follow up, we don't do, and you know that's a different conversation. But if you have somebody on the phone and they say and you say, hey, oh, I get it. You're not trying to do anything right now. So let me ask you, David, if you were to sell, when do you think that would be? And David comes back and says, well, you know, probably not till next year once my kid, you know, graduates college and then we're out to Florida. Well, you just move that person up in the priority list. There's everybody else that you know that gets your normal 12 by 12, your quarterly calls, whatever it is. But that person who just said they're thinking of moving in a year, you better follow up with them differently. And I just think that that was like an aha I've had through like this 66-day challenge that I'm doing, and like realizing that it's like, dude, you got nothing to lose. You got them on the phone. You might never be able to get them on the phone again or get them to answer their door again. Ask the questions while you have your shot, like shoot your shot. You've got nothing to lose, and it's our job because when we present ourselves as professional salespeople, like that's who people really want to work with. And you know, if I'm hiring somebody to sell my most expensive asset and they're a little too timid to ask me, I mean, listen, there's a balance, right? But I think when you show like, hey, no, I'm here to work, I'm here to do this, I'm here to do, like, that's the people they want to hire to sell their biggest asset. So I just wanted to share that. I think we get in our heads too much, and it's like, unless you have a rock solid follow-up plan that you're going to like, you really know, like ask yourself, am I really going to like talk to this person again? Like just ask the questions.
Love it. Love it. So really quickly, before we go on, and I want you guys to write me in the chat if you agree with this. I like where this conversation is going, and we're going to do some role plays on objections. However, if what we were talking about the past half an hour has brought you value, just put me in the chat because I'm working to figure out a format for this call where it brings you value, and I want to know what's working and what's not working. So thank you for that. And Jero, you got a word. Go for it.
Yeah, I would just basically piggybacking off what Pete was saying is that you know, you don't have to door knock. Like I say, I door knock when I get an open house. I could door knock before I list that house. You go micro farming door knocking, you know, letting them people know that, hey, pretty soon I just got signed a contract. Pretty soon I got this house that's coming on the market. You know, the same script. Do you know anybody? Do you want, you know, why'd you move in the neighborhood and all that other stuff? Then once the house is on the market, you door knock again, inviting them to the open house. I'm hitting them like 3 or 4 times. That's my point. Hitting them like 3 or 4 times, letting them know. And then after that, hit them again.
Love it. Love it. And listen, right now we got Easter's about to come up. You guys, I was just at Walmart this morning and I saw they have the little candy, the little peeps. And I haven't done this personally, but I know somebody who does this. Like around Easter, they'll go buy the little small packets of peeps. And as they're door knocking, they go around and say, hey, just checking in on my peeps, especially if they have kids. And it's just like a very inexpensive dollar touch that makes you stay top of mind because that's something different than what most people would do. So that's a strategy you guys can use, especially during this time of the year. I needed to get some help. Giovanna, do you think you can help me out with something really quickly? Because I have bias a lot of times when I call on people. So all I want you to do, Giovanna, because I know you probably don't know a whole lot of people on this call. I just wanted to come to you and say, Giovanna, pick another person. And I just want you to choose a random name. And that's the person who's going to role play. Will you help me out with that? She's like, damn it, David, I get on this call. And of course, you pick on me. Are you able to unmute? Let me see.
I had a feeling you were going to call on me.
I just want to hear your voice. So there we go. But I need that help because I find sometimes I end up calling on the people that I know are ready to role play. And that's not the point of this call. The point is to get people ready. And so I need someone who's going to be able to just randomly pick people. I'm going to throw them an objection after you choose the person. Is that cool?
All right. Sounds
All
good.
right, let's go.
All right. Colleen.
All right. Okay. So Colleen, listen, Colleen, we're willing to list our house with you. We liked everything you had to say, but you know, you're telling us 550. We really want to start it at 600. Can we start at 600?
Oops.
Okay. I'm sorry, I just heard. Okay, let me ask you a question. You said that you wanted to get down to Florida, correct? By a
That's correct.
certain date.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. So if you wanted to get down to Florida by a certain date, do you think, and based on all the comps I showed you, the actives, the under contracts, the sold, do you still think that 650 is going to be able to get you down to Florida by that certain date? Why did you want to go to Florida in the first?
You know why that's all important. It's about being around our grandkids, and that's still important to us. But you know, we need a certain amount of money when we sell this house, and I want to start at 600 and see if we can't get our number.
Okay, so I understand that, David. And I understand you want to get down to Florida to see your grandkids. Now, say, oh, I'm sorry. Wait, I can't do that because you just said 650 and then you said 600.
Well, I said 5. You said 550, and I told you I wanted 600.
I thought you said 650.
It's okay. I was just playing along with you. I didn't want to interrupt you and mess you up.
Okay. Yeah, you messed me up, and I'm not good at that. I'm sorry. I'm still trying.
But here's the thing. Without making it about the numbers, how would you overcome the objection of me wanting to overprice? Let's not make it about the numbers. Just overcoming that objection of me wanting to come out higher. How would you overcome that?
I would just basically say you want to go down and see your grandchildren down in Florida. Is $50,000 going to make a difference for you to get down there? What's the main reason you want to go to Florida to see your grandchildren? Yeah,
but it would definitely make a big difference for us because we got to buy when we get out there too. So yeah, that's all right. Time's up.
Yeah,
I
messed up on that one.
All good, Colleen. I want you to throw it to somebody else. I want you to choose someone else on this call to overcome that objection.
I would love to hear Pete because he always has great objection.
He does. Pete, listen, man. I'm willing to list my house with you, but not at 550. If we can start at 600, I'd love to do it.
Gotcha. And after reviewing these comps, David, I understand wanting to list at 600,000. And it's important that we can justify that when we go on the market. So based on these comps that we see are kind of telling us around the 550 number, right? We agree on that?
Yeah. I mean, I hear what you're saying about the price, yes, but I want 600.
I gotcha. And you said you're moving down to Florida, right?
Yeah, Pete.
So David, let me ask you a question. You get down to Florida, you identify the house that you want to buy, right? And you and your agent that we partner you up with takes a look at all of the comparable properties, and we kind of come to realize that the home there is worth $400,000. And when you go and you make the offer for $400,000, the seller comes back to you and says, well, listen, we appreciate your $400,000 offer. We really want $450 because we want to be able to retire and have that extra money to go live on our boat. Is that going to impact the amount that you offer on the property?
I don't care about that. I'm not overpaying.
Right. And don't you think buyers in this market are going to feel the same way?
You guys hear what he did there? He got me to say I'm not going to overpay. That's what we want. We want the seller to come to that conclusion. And I don't know if you guys heard this, but he also planted the seed when I partner you up with another agent down there to buy your next home. He dropped that in there. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but that's kind of doing the soft close, assuming that you're getting the listing. Pete is slick. I don't know. Pete, you're pretty slick, man. I got you.
That's why I picked him.
Well, I hope you guys learn from that. Lou, what did you have to say about that?
Yeah, so David, understanding where you want to get and what your goal and objective is, it's been our experience in selling homes in Wayne Township that we can achieve to get to that goal by taking a step back and analyzing where your buyers are coming from, how to attract them, and how to drive them to the township. And based on building that marketing plan specifically for you, our team has been able to achieve 109% of asking price. So in order to get to that 600 number, we suggest that you start at 550. And what that allows us to do is to drive more traffic and drive more eyeballs to your home, and then potentially could also offer you an opportunity to get better terms for your property as well. It's not just about that 600,000 which you're looking for. you may consider taking 5,000 less than that 600 because someone may offer you better terms from an inspection, from an appraisal, from other things that you might not be aware of that could help you get to that final destination a little bit quicker.
Like that. You guys got that? That's really good. Lou, stay unmuted. I want to do something with you here.
Yeah.
So I want you to give me that same objection. I learned this new objection handler in Las Vegas, and I don't even have it written down. I'm going off top of my head. So if I don't get it right and someone else heard it, please correct me, because I think it's a really good objection handler. Lou, I want to be the agent. You're the seller, and tell me that you want more for your house.
Okay. David, thanks for coming, but we're really looking to get 600,000 for our house. I know the market comparables may say it's a little less, but we feel that we might be able to push the envelope a little bit and get 600.
I get it, Lou. Let me paint a picture for you. You and your beautiful wife sitting behind you there. Let me ask you this. You guys go out to dinner on Friday evenings. You're looking to have a great experience at dinner. And so you go to the first restaurant, and it's dinner time. It's 7:00. No one's there, right? And yet the restaurant right next door is jam-packed. There's great music. There's a great vibe. Everyone's there having a good time, and there's a wait list. Lou, where do you want to have dinner?
Yeah, I get it. I'm not into crowds. I really want the food and the experience.
Damn. Thanks, Lou. You messed me up there.
I want to be where everybody else is. Why would I want to go to a place that's quiet?
But I have to be prepared to handle if you don't give me the answer I'm looking for. So we got to talk about that too. But let's just say that Lou said I want to be where everybody is.
Yeah, I want to be where everybody else is. Why would I want to be at a place that's not doing business?
Exactly. And that's the reason why it's important that we price at 550, Lou, because when buyers come in and they see that this is where everybody else is looking, and everyone else is excited and writing up offers, they're going to want to write up an offer too. And so what that's going to allow you to do is hopefully get this property sold quickly, but more importantly, net you the most money possible. So just like you wouldn't want to be at a restaurant when no one's there and there's no vibe, the buyers want to be where other people want to be as well. Does that make sense?
Yes.
I don't know if I covered that right. Did anybody else hear that in Vegas? And if I said it wrong, do you guys know how I should say it right?
Was that
in the breakout session? Yes. No one else? Okay. Did it make sense? Do you think that's
I mean, it falls along the line of the commission negotiation of where, hey, I'd like to be able to take this to an extreme if you're open to it.
Yes.
And if you were out looking for medical services, would you want to go to the doctor that is going to charge you the least, or would you want to go to the doctor that's going to offer you the most experience to be able to help you accomplish, what your medical goals are?
And so, listen, I was working to use that script to make my point, and then Lou threw a monkey wrench in. He gave me the answer I didn't want. What do we do when we're talking to a seller and they say what we don't want them to say? We got to be quick on our toes. Like, how do we recover from that? So in my head, Lou, and I don't know if this is right, I would say, Lou, I get that, man. You just want to have a nice, intimate dinner with your wife. You don't want the crowds. However, let's say you have that dinner, but the following morning you talk to all your friends and they talked about how great the other restaurant was and the food and the experience and the vibe, and you realize what you missed out on. How are you going to feel about that?
Yeah, I'm going to wish that I was there.
Yeah. Well, listen, I don't want you to have any regrets on the sale of this home. I'm telling you, that's where the party is, and we need to price your house so that we're attracting a lot of buyers. What that's going to do for you is make sure that you get the number you're looking for and the time you're looking for. So why don't we go ahead and do the right thing and price it based on what the market's telling us, Lou? And I guarantee at the end, you'll be happy you went to the right party. That was a little corny, but I think you guys got what I was trying to say. And I'm trying to get it together in my head, but
no,
I think it's like,
David, I think it came from the book called The Go-Giver, where the guy had a restaurant side by side with another restaurant, and the line was around the corner at his restaurant, and the line was short in the other restaurant. And they was wondering why. It's because they served the same stuff, but what they did was the stuff that they served, you had to take it home because it was so much. The other people, you ate all your food on your plate. So basically the story is we give more in service than we ask for in price. That's what that's, yeah.
Okay. Love that. And Lou was going to say something. I think Pete was going to say something as well.
I didn't mean to cut you off, Pete. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. That was great. Thank you for sharing. I was I mean, that's a way better thing than I was going to say. So I'm glad you interrupted me. But I was just going to say, if you're the owner of the restaurant, which one, like, I would just laugh and say, yeah, no, fair enough. Listen, I don't really like eating with a big crowd either. But if you're a business owner, which we're kind of like business owners in this sense, right? We're trying to sell your home for the most money. Which business owner do you think is happier? The one with the line out the door or the one that's got, 25% full?
Love it. That's really good.
So David, I'm actually swinging pendulum here. So I've been trying to get in touch with a for sale by owner here in Wayne, and won't pick up the phone, but will text.
Mhm.
So I don't like to sell over text, right? I don't mind communicating and trying to, quickly build a bond and schedule, but they won't answer the phone. To be preemptive, I have not knocked on the door yet, so don't say go knock on the door, right? Because
Right.
I do know that. But they threw a curveball to me and they said, I don't work with buyer's agents, not interested. So Wayne is my farm, as many of you know, sold 28 houses in Wayne last year. So there's a good story to tell. Just open for suggestions on how people might handle it and ideas of what they would do.
Well, first of all, I would say I'm so happy to hear you say that. I wish most for sell by owners felt the same way, because it's not in your best interest to work with a buyer's agent. Can I explain?
Yeah.
Like, get into conversation with them on that. But here's the other thing I would say. This is not about us when it comes to prospecting. Sometimes you got to meet people where they are. If they're not answering the phone and they're willing to text, I have literally texted the entire script to a seller back and forth. Why are you selling the home? Why is that important to you? I've gone through the entire freaking script, Lou, on text.
Okay.
And so what I started doing after that happened, I created a memo pad on my phone, and I had the script already there. So all I had to do was cut and paste, because typing it out takes a lot of time. So now I had it where I could just cut and paste parts of the script and send it over. And if that's where they are, then meet them there. And then, Lou, I'm also going to say go throw a knock as well. Go throw a knock. But seriously, I would text them back and forth and get through it.
Okay.
Yep. And if that doesn't work, a lot of things they talked about at family reunion this year is that we need to do a better job of whipping out our cell phones and doing the video and emailing or texting over a video.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
People are getting a lot of great responses like, hey, Lou, it's David. I'm a local real estate agent. I know that you don't want to work with buyer agents. So happy to hear you say that. I want to tell you why that's a smart decision. I just need to connect with you for 5 minutes. I promise I won't take up a lot of your time. And if what I say doesn't make sense, you can just hang up. When's the best time for me to call you to get in touch? And I would just send that over to him and see what will happen.
Okay, that's a great idea. I'm gonna do that.
Hey Lou, have you tried to narrow it down as far as like time frame? As far as like, hey, does mornings or afternoons work better for you?
No,
or if those work.
every time I've
does
picked up the
weekdays or
call.
weekends work better for you?
Yeah, I mean, every time I've picked up, can I have my phone? Every time I've texted him, I called him, he's specifically said, so he specifically said, please text me. I said, when's a good time to take 5 minutes for a quick conversation? Please text me. I don't
But
offer.
have you got
any
more
fee-
specific with your question? As far as like, does mornings or afternoons work better, or does weekdays or weekends work better? That way you can like narrow it down, but when to contact them.
Then he said, I don't offer any fee for buyer's agent. Are you willing to work for free?
Yeah, I would just ignore that and I would get into my script. And Jayon, I hear what you're asking about, like, what's the better time? I think we have to do a better job listening. When they're telling us, text me, text them. Because if it was me and I was telling you to text me and you kept trying to get a hold of me, I'm like, I'm done. So meet people where they are.
So script him right on text.
Absolutely. That's what he wants. That's what he wants. And
Okay,
I would keep an eye on it if he's having any open houses or any places where you can get in. I would definitely go door knock, but if he's having an open house, I would definitely show up and I would bring my for sale by owner packet with me and come from contribution. So like, hey, I'm not here to sell you anything. Coming to take a look at the house. I'm a local agent. I haven't seen the inventory. Just want to know more about your home. And I would make it about getting a preview. And during that preview, you can go through your script, find out why they're selling the house and what they're looking to accomplish when you're doing that preview of the property.
I really like the video idea. I think I'll make Francesca make the video though. She comes across better on video than I do.
Or you guys do it together, a little tag team action. Don't underestimate the power of video, especially in today's market. Don't underestimate that. If people are texting, text them. but let them see who you are, see what you're all about. Texting's a good way to go, the video text, and you can actually do it on WhatsApp. If you update your WhatsApp, it's really easy to do a video chat with someone as well.
Hey,
All right.
David,
Yes, who's
I
that?
got a
Gerald,
quick
what's up, sir?
question. I got a quick question for you. I heard you just told Lou about, go over the house, see the open house and tell them you came just to see the house, right?
Mm-hmm.
I went to a for sale by owner and she let me tour the house. And while I'm touring the house, I'm asking her the questions that, you showed us to ask. And then I hit the one, she told me she was working with a lawyer, right? And I was telling her, said, well, who's protecting you? But then she tells me she has 2 friends who are agents, right? Well, I'm blown by that, but I come to find out the 2 friends are agents, both work in my office.
Oh,
God.
and the lender.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, is that a negative or a positive? Like, man, that's got to be tough when you have 2 friends, right? Right. How do you choose if you got to a point where you had to choose an agent? How do you choose between your 2 friends? Sometimes it's easier just to choose a person you don't know. And that way you can tell them like, hey, I didn't want to cause a divide in our friendship and have to choose between one of you. So I just gave it to Gerald, right? That's one way they can handle it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and here's the thing. They haven't listed with their friends. Why is that? Is it because the friends haven't asked? Are the friends telling them like, hey, you just go ahead and do for sale by owner and I'll help you out? That's not good looking out if you're a friend, because allowing them to be a for sale by owner is doing them a disservice. So
yeah.
I would question that. If you had a friend, why are you not listed with them? What's up with that?
Yeah.
In a positive way. Like, I wouldn't want to make her feel wrong, but I would say, well, why haven't you listed with your friends yet?
Yeah.
No, I would make her feel bad. Like,
Oh, Betty. Be nice,
what's up
Betty.
with those friends? But I mean, say it in a joking way.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
But I would not
exactly.
let that deter me. I would still keep calling, because what I recognize is they're not listed. And until they are listed, or until they tell me I'm obligated, like no matter what, if I do list, this is my person, no matter what. If they don't tell me that, I'm going to continue to call.
Well, I did call her. I did call her after that, but because I didn't know who her friends were at the time. But I did call her, and then the third time I called her, she sold it already. It was
On her own?
Yeah, on her own. It was a very nice house in a good neighborhood. I mean, it was a very nice house. Yeah.
And she sold it on her own?
Yeah.
But let me ask you a question, because I'm just curious. How often were you calling?
Well, I went over there the first day, right? Then I called the next day, like you showed us how to give to contribution. I asked her, did she need anything, any help or anything like that? Of course, you could hear her trying to rush me off the phone,
right?
Because she works from home, but she was trying to rush me off the phone. And then, like I said, I also noticed that they reduced the price, and I called her on that. Oh, okay, you reduced the price, or you still wanting it, whatever. Then the next day it was sold. She had already sold it.
So is this in the matter of a week, in the matter of a month?
Yeah,
like,
it's a matter of a week. It's a matter of a week. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Where do you live?
Curious.
Where do you live? I'm curious. Huh?
I live in Virginia.
Oh, what part of Virginia?
Chester, down 20 minutes south of Richmond.
Okay.
Put your information in the chat too, Matt, because if someone needs a referral partner in your area, just make sure they have your contact information.
I got you.
Hey, Gerald, how close are you to Fort Lee?
Right next door. Right next door.
I know a lot of instructors there too. I'll definitely keep in mind.
Oh yeah, I'll put it in the chat right now.
Yeah. Everybody who's like out of New Jersey, I would encourage you to put your information in the chat. So really quickly, I wanted to say something here. Good information, good sharing. I love all the information everyone was giving out. I did things a little differently. We didn't do the objection handling like we normally do, because I felt the conversation around door knocking and everything we were talking about was really valuable. And I hope that it was valuable for everyone on here. We got to get out there and we have to door knock. And I have to tell you this, and I'm not saying this to scare anyone. I went to a seminar, a breakout session at Family Reunion, and they were talking about the do not call list. And one thing that came up that really surprised me was that even though for sale by owners are putting their phone number on Zillow and putting their phone number up on the internet, I always thought that meant I can call them. Like, even though they're on the do not call list, if they're putting their number out there, I have permission to call. That's what I always assumed. What I was told is that they still fall under the DNC.
Oh, wow.
And you can get in trouble if you call them. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you. I can't say a whole lot, but I'm saying this. Hopefully you can read in between the lines. But here's what I will tell you. I think door knocking is going to really help you a lot, because there are going to be a lot of people who are afraid to make these calls to actual for sale by owners because of what they learned this week. Go out there and door knock them too. If you're calling, still go out and door knock, because it gives you an opportunity to get belly to belly with them and have a conversation. And it's important that you do that. And what I will also tell you is find out what the rules are where you live. What we found out through conversation is that if you are doing a survey and you're not selling anything, it's okay to call someone on the DNC. Now, do your own research on that. That's what I was told. And so what my script used to be was, hey, I'm David. I'm a local realtor. I'm doing a survey on local for sale by owners in my area. And that's how I started my script. So in case they were recording, I was covered because I was actually doing the survey. And I was not selling them anything. My whole point was to go through my questions. My script was my survey. And I would go through my script. And then when I followed up, I got their permission to follow up. I was able to book an appointment with them through my follow-up. So find out, do your own due diligence. But what I was told is if you are doing a survey, you're exempt from the DNC, but it has to be a survey. Like you can't do the bait and switch. So just keep that in mind. Lou, go ahead.
So David, I have a question. Go ahead.
All right, let Lou go, and then Michelle, I'll come right to you. Go ahead.
Yeah, no worries, David. I kind of wanted to piggyback on that because I'm not big into motivational speakers, but I do have to tell you, sitting on Mel Robbins, for anybody that drives a lot, obviously as realtors we do, or listens to podcasts, hook yourself up with Mel Robbins, because two things really resonated with me personally. And one is, don't let fear hold you back from what you want to accomplish in life, because at the end of the day, this is just you versus you. This isn't you versus David, or you versus Manny, or you versus me. This is you versus you. And listening to Mel will really help you to take a deep breath and just understand that you can accomplish getting over fear or anything else that you have going on. And I mean, she almost brought me to tears twice. And you say that and you chuckle, but listen to her podcast, look her up, and you won't be sorry by taking a couple of minutes with listening to her.
I agree. And Lou, let me tell you this, she brought me to tears more than once. And I came home, and this morning I pulled up her podcast. This was what I was listening to this morning. Your dreams, the title of this one, Your Dreams Are Not a Joke. And it's like so many times we're putting our dreams on the sidelines and giving up on our dreams to get caught up living life. And she has this whole talk about your dreams aren't a joke. Why are you not going after what's important to you? I think Lou's absolutely right. Mel Robbins was phenomenal. Her podcast will speak to you. It's definitely a good one.
Just, background on her real quickly. She's someone that had a major obstacle in her life, right? She had some personal things that were going on with her and her husband and her family. And she's not just someone that's, that went to high level education and psychologist. She actually had, a humanistic story to share with us about the trials and tribulations that she had to overcome and how she created this. So she's 15 years into it. And it was really very relevant.
Love it. Love it. And before I get out of here, guys, as you know, I'm the prospecting coach for PUSH. Stands for Prospect Until Success Happens. If anyone who's not familiar with PUSH is interested in like how you can learn these scripts and master the objection handlers and get to a point where you are taking listings, I'm going to put in a link. You can book a 15-minute call. I'd love to talk to you about it. If you're not having the success that you want to have in your business, especially on the listing side, book a free call with me. I'd love to talk to you about it. I don't have time to do it on this call, but I would definitely love to speak with you guys. And I hope that you have value from coming here on Fridays. And I trust that if you do have value, next week, each of you invite one other person to join. We're getting closer to the goal of hitting 100. Today we were up to over 60. So I would love by the end of March if we have 100 people on here who are serious about scripting and objection handling. And coming next week, we're going back to the rapid fire objection handling and really getting after it. So come prepare for that next week. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Giovanna, nice to see you. Thank you for helping me out. Bomika, I got to call you. I'm ready to talk to you. Bomika is on fire. She's going to have a great year. So we got to chop it up, Bomika, and talk about what's going on. But guys, thank you so much for being here. I am out of here. I got to do a bunch of push exit interviews today. If you're out there doing some good things with what you've learned, tag me on it. Like, I get so much from seeing you guys out there having success and getting out of your comfort zone. If you're having success, either call me or text me or tag me in the video where you're sharing your success. I love to hear it. That's the fuel that keeps me going. So I appreciate you guys. I hope that you guys have a good rest of your Friday. Go get after it. Go make it happen. Y'all have a good one.
Thank you, David. Thank you, everybody. Have
All
a
right.
great weekend.
All right, y'all. Be good.
All right, have a good week.
Yes, yes.